Yeah.
Okay.
How are
Thank
you
you.
doing today?
I'm well. It was a busy Monday. How about you?
Very busy. I made it. We're
You
here.
made it. We're here. Yes. And for the next half hour, I have you. And I'm
Yeah.
so excited to have you share more about yourself and your heritage, talk about food, talk about your cooking event coming up. So I'm gonna, waste no time and just let you introduce yourself and share a little bit about your background and then jump right into, what you want to share about your culture.
Okay, great. So thank you for having me on today. I appreciate it. My name is Sue Ellen Anderson-Haynes, and I was born in Jamaica. I left when I was a little girl. I moved to New Jersey, and then I moved to Florida. From there, I went to school. I went to like middle school, high school, and then I went to University of Florida, where I got my Bachelor's of Science in Food Science and Human Nutrition, and I went
Yeah.
to grad school to get my master's degree in nutrition and wellness. And from there, I got a lot of experience. And so basically, right now, to make it short, I'm a dietitian at Joslin Diabetes Center. I help people with diabetes and insulin resistance, all types of diabetes, type 1, type 2, 1.5. And I mainly work in the pregnancy clinic. So I help patients with pregnancy patients or those planning pregnancy, control blood sugars, and to become pregnant, and also after pregnancy. I also recently launched a wellness company for girls and women. It's called 360 Girls and Women. Um, and it focuses, I can talk more about that later. Or do you want me to go
Yeah,
on?
I was thinking I definitely want at the end for you to talk a little bit more about your newer
Okay.
venture and
Yes, that's what I thought.
yeah,
About that
absolutely.
later. So, what else do you want me to talk about?
So
Uh,
just, I mean, you can share like your cultural background
okay.
with food and then like kind of tie that into the event you're going to be doing
Okay.
later this month.
All right. So I think you had asked about things that in my culture, like what we actually do is our family culture. So
Yeah.
in Jamaica, so first of all, Jamaica is like one of the third largest country in the Caribbean or the Antilles area, and so we speak English. We speak the British English. Jamaica was under British rule for a long time. So our first language is English, but we also speak a patois. So it's broken English. It has some like African dialect in it. So we say things like, wapen, which is like what happened and what's going on. How you are doing, which is like how are you doing. So it's English, but it's
Yeah,
like broken English.
I
And so
like
we
it.
speak
Or
that.
shortened. You just abbreviated it and made it a lot more efficient. Yeah.
Yes. So we speak that, and if we speak it really fast, you don't really know what we're saying. You think it's a different language. So that's the cool
Uh-huh.
part of it. But it's not a really different language. It's a broken dialect. But like I said, with mixture of African um, undertones and things like that.
Yeah.
Our national dish is ackee and saltfish, and which I love that dish a lot.
Mhm.
Ackee is a fruit grown in Jamaica, and you have to pick it a certain way. If you pick it too ripe, it will be poisonous to you, and it could kill you.
Oh, interesting. This is actually a fruit, but it's called some
Ackee,
ackee.
it's yellow. Yeah, it's ackee, but
Okay.
it's high in fat. Like that avocado, it's high in fat, but
Oh, okay. Yep.
it has seeds. It has like three black seeds in it.
Okay.
Typically three or four lobes, but it is very delicious. It takes on the flavor of anything you kind of make with it. And so our national dish is ackee and saltfish, and we traditionally eat that for breakfast.
When you say salt fish or salt
Yeah,
dish?
salt fish. I'm sorry, yeah, ackee and salt fish. And salt
Is
fish is similar to codfish, or in
yep.
Latino culture they call it bacalao.
Okay.
So it's salted fish, and we soak it. It's cod, and you
Yep.
soak it, and you take off the salt, and you boil it, and you cut it up with onions, scallion, peppers. It's like really good dish.
Mm.
I actually don't really eat fish. I'm kind of like mainly a vegan.
Hmm.
So, but that's our national dish. I kind of make it. I veganize it. So
Oh, so
I
how do you do that?
Well, that's interesting. There's things you could add into the dish to make it like a fishy flavor. So like
Oh,
seaweed.
oh,
There's
interesting.
kelp seasonings you could use to add. So you don't actually have to have the saltfish, or you could use chickpeas, or you could use mushrooms, chickpeas, or you could use jackfruit to kind of replace
Oh
replace the
yeah.
fish and
Yeah.
season it accordingly to get that fishy flavor if you wanted to have the fishy flavor. Some
Yeah.
people just eat the ackee by itself. So sometimes I cut it up with peppers, onions, tomatoes, and I put it over like plantain or green banana. So it's really good like that too. So
And is it easy to find the Aki?
yeah, good question. The ackee is not easy to find. You can't grow it here because I like to grow my food, and that's something Jamaicans like to do. We grow our food a lot. If you go to Jamaica, you see a mango tree, breadfruit. You see
Right
ackee.
right in
You
your
see,
yard?
yes, and people will
Oh,
even come
that's
and pick it,
wonderful.
and people will come
Yeah.
pick it and eat
I
it.
love that. Oh,
They're
that's awesome.
like,
That's
can I
not
eat?
that's unlike any experience any
Yeah.
kids in our culture have. Yeah, that's
You'll
great.
see like things hanging off people's streets. Sometimes, some people like don't pick my things, but most of the times, people are friendly and you'll see it hanging on their tree and you'll just pick it and eat it and you'll go,
That's
So
great. That's
you'll
great.
never, yeah, you'll never really go hungry in Jamaica because there's always some place that someone has planted a tree, some kind of a fruit or vegetable. So you can't go hungry in Jamaica.
That's
Um,
great. That's wonderful. I love the community component of that like kind of feeding each other and sharing the food.
Always, yeah. I mean, when I say you can't go hungry, don't get me wrong. It's a third world country still, so people are
Yeah.
still,
Yeah.
there's still not enough for people, not enough jobs,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
we do have hunger as we do
Mhm.
in America.
Yeah.
But I think the good thing about in Jamaica, like I said, you could grow your food. There's no winter there per se. Like there's no like snow, and so the weather is not it's not harsh, so
Right.
you can
Right.
grow
You
certain
can
tropical.
grow it year round. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
because I wish we could grow a mango tree and orange tree here, and then I'm like, it's hard. Like I
Yeah, yeah.
can't grow that.
That's actually it's interesting. That's unheard of. Now, when you were in Florida, were you able to grow mango trees there?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my uncle, he had mango trees, and my husband actually, his family, they are from St. Lucia and Jamaica. His mom is Jamaican, his dad is St. Lucia. They have ackee tree. They have
Oh,
they grow their what else do they have there? They have lime. They have lime tree, a lemon tree. They have I think they have mango tree too. When I
oh,
used
that's
to go there to
wonderful.
visit.
It must smell amazing.
Yeah, and it smells like home because when I go to Florida, it's like the closest to home.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I love it. And
Yeah,
sounds like you make a lot of these foods in your own home for
yeah.
your kids and your
I
family. Hmm.
Yeah, so some of the traditions that we like to keep is we like to have Sunday dinner still because in Jamaica we keep Sunday dinners really big and we have dinner early like around 2 or 3 and we like to cook like a big meal like a big breakfast like maybe ackee saltfish type of breakfast with
Yeah.
yam, bananas, plantains or something, a lot of vegetable like greens. We eat callaloo, which is similar to like collard greens.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and that's something I actually grew here last summer.
Really?
I did an IG actually no, I just posted something on my page about the fruits and vegetables that I grew, and callaloo was one of them. It was really good. I got the seeds from a farm, and so I just grew it, and it came out well, and it's reminded me of home.
Awesome.
But ackee, as you mentioned, is hard to find. That's one of the foods you have to get in a can, and
Okay.
so eating canned foods is not something that I always say eat fresh or frozen. Canned foods, it's okay to eat canned foods if you don't have anything available. So I will eat canned ackee because I want to eat the ackee
You
because
want to get that,
that's
yeah.
the
Hmm.
closest thing I have. The only thing is they put in a lot of salt, so you have to like drain it and rinse it. So because they have to use salt to preserve it, so it's not the
Right,
same.
right,
So
right,
it's
right.
fresh is always best for me because in Jamaica we cut things off the trees and we put it in the pot. It's like from farm to
Oh,
table.
wow. It's amazing. Yeah, that's so wonderful. And it's
Yeah,
great that you've been able to find ways to recreate it and pass it on to your own family.
yeah. And so my children are born here. So I said, hey, you're Jamaican. And my daughter always says, make me some Jamaican dumplings. Make me some, she always says, maybe some Jamaican plantains. She's so funny. I'm like, okay. Yeah, it's so funny. But yeah, I like to recreate the meals because I want them to have a piece of my culture, right? So,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And are your kids also vegan? Or,
No, actually, my daughter, she's semi. So the reason why I became plant-based, by the way, mainly plant-based, is because I had medical issues. I had actually a really bad delivery. My last child,
yeah,
I was put on bed rest. I just had really bad issues, and I was never that way. I grew up as a picky eater, but I was
yeah.
good immune system, pretty healthy person, and so things that started happening to me when I started having children, and.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Body changes a
yeah,
lot. Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I, decided to go, delve in deeper to see what was, what I need to do in terms of my health, my,
Yeah.
beauty regimen, my
Yeah.
sleep, my stress, and my food. Now I thought I ate pretty healthy, and which I think I did, but
Yeah.
you know, a lot of research is showing that, you know, the less animal food, the more plant-based you eat is, you know, reduce inflammation, reduce pain. I was having a lot of pain, a lot of inflammation, the thing, doctors didn't know what was going on with me. Okay. So I was seeing everybody, I was seeing all type of specialists, getting all kind of procedures. And I was like, you know what, this is it. I just need to take it easy, and I had to figure things out. I need to pray. So God, number one, first of all, God helped me, my family helped me to be where I am today. That I could actually stand up and not be in pain and go back to work and do things I love. But anyway, so I changed my lifestyle, total renovated my everything, like the way I lived, and I even moved out closer to the country to get more air and to get away from
environment has a huge impact. I mean, I've heard people say that just like moving to another area can
where
make a
I
big
was
difference.
the you know, to get in outside more, to get in, you know, more kind of country living as best that I can. I guess closer to like Jamaica living in a sense. But so I became more plant-based, and I eliminated certain foods. I'm not gonna say that this is gonna work for everyone, but I know from research that, you know, more plants. You can't go
Well,
wrong
if you think about it, that's what you grew up with. That's what your body's used to.
That's what my body's used to.
So it's actually making me think of so I grew up in Maine on the coast, like right near the ocean, and so really a lot of salt in the air, right? A lot of iodine, a lot of salt in the air. My sister now lives in Vermont and was and I don't know if there's a connection, but she was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is related to like iodine deficiency. And I thought about that. I'm like, wow, like, you know, we grew up with so much salt in the air, and now she's in the mountains and not close to water. And isn't that interesting to kind of think about our bodies just adapting to where we live and and wanting that kind of the natural environment, and wanting to feed from the natural environment that we were we were born in.
I wholeheartedly believe that, you know, there's no one food that cures anything. Like, you know, we know we're dietitians. There's no one vitamin, no one food. It's like a complete type of package. That's why I kind of created 360 Girls and Women, because 360 means completion. And I just feel like, you know, you address health from all levels.
That holistic,
you know, physically, mentally, you know, spiritually, because you can't think and eat. You can't, you know, praise God, or you can't meditate, or whatever spiritually you do, you can't focus because you're not nourished, right?
So, that's the basic need, right? You got to move, you know, kind of get those basic needs met. Absolutely.
Exactly.
It's very inspiring to hear your story and how that really, you know, led you to do the work that you do. And did this all happen before you got into dietetics and nutrition, or?
Oh, no. So when I actually wanted to do nursing or like medicine, and I changed when I came to undergrad. I always wanted to do that in high school. And when I went to undergrad, I was like, you know, what do I want to do? I'm not sure. You know, I took all these pre-med and pre-nursing classes, but I was like, what do I really want to do? So I went to see a counselor, and she said, nutrition counselor. Well, actually, she was a guidance counselor, I guess you call them. But it was actually, I don't know how I ended up in the nutrition department, but I was in the nutrition department talking to a dietitian.
You were meant to be there, right?
Yeah, I was meant to be a dietitian. And she was like, have you ever considered the field of nutrition dietetics? I was like, dietetics? I was like, what is that? And she was going to tell me what dietitians. And I was like, you know what? Let me just take a nutrition class. Let me just take an intro class. I took this class and it blew my mind. I couldn't believe, and this is probably a similar story other dietitians said, where you take the nutrition class and you learn how much like vitamins and nutrients plays a role in disease prevention, and the lack thereof causes issues, and how, you know, nutrition could help reverse, prevent, or manage. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is nutrition. I was like, I'm changing my major. So I changed my major. But not only that, I had a stepmom who was in medical school prior to when she was with my dad. So I had a stepmom. She was in medical school and she got a nervous breakdown. And they put on a lot of medications, the doctor, to kind of help and, you know, getting her back on her feet. And she was getting a lot of side effects from these medications. And she told me, she actually said, why don't you look into a you know, holistic or naturopathic or nutrition type field? I'm like, what is that? And she was like, just to let you know, I'm telling you a little bit about my story. She told me that she eventually got off her medications little by little, weaning herself, of course, with guidance from whatever person she was, you know, getting the guidance from, and the guidance from her physician. She didn't just stop her medicines, but she eventually, you know, used nutrition
Yeah.
and principles from, you know, her belief or the Bible or whatever God was telling her to do. And she healed herself with God's
Mm-hmm.
help, of course. And she came off those
Mm-hmm.
medicines. She takes supplements and does natural therapies. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what kind of drew me into more. I was like, because I was like, are you kidding me? You stopped your medicines? I was like,
Mm-hmm.
you're just doing like holistic things like nutrition and
Mm-hmm.
exercise and
Mm-hmm.
you're taking
Mm-hmm.
vitamins
Mm-hmm.
and you feel better? She's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, I need to figure out
Mm-hmm.
what she's doing. I need to figure out what this new thing is.
This new thing called
Yeah,
nutrition,
it's called
called food,
nutrition.
right? Yeah, no, there it is amazing, and particularly with like your work in diabetes, I imagine you see that. And I know my mother has type 2 diabetes, and she's been
Yeah.
able to really decrease and actually at one point eliminate the medications
Yeah,
because with things changes she made, and so
yeah,
it just gives people a choice,
a
right? And
choice.
there's
Yeah,
nothing wrong with medication, but it's like if you want,
exactly.
but you get to choose, like if
Yeah,
there's some alternatives and ways you can approach
yeah,
it that decrease your need, that's
yeah.
awesome too. Yeah.
Yeah, we need Eastern and Western medicine.
Yeah.
That's my.
Yeah.
We need. There's a point where sometimes you gotta take medicine. It was for short term or something's
Yeah.
going on. You may need it, and then you may need also maybe other approaches if it's not working for you.
Yeah.
Because I mean I don't know the Jamaica. One thing about Jamaica, we like to drink teas and
Yeah.
herbs, and we pick,
Yeah.
pick herbs from trees and we make our teas. And
Yeah.
I know some dietitians or people in the nutrition field may say that teas, they don't believe in teas and they
Yeah.
believe in juicing and things like that. And I think I'm going to be writing something about this because I'm probably going to shock a lot of people. But herbs detoxify our body, okay? And certain foods are high in detoxification, right? And
Yeah.
so I am not going to say, oh, go on a detox diet. That's not what I'm
Right.
saying.
Right.
I'm
Right.
saying
Right.
that
Right. But
food, herbs,
yeah.
spices, things help our body because if it didn't, well, our bodies need a little help sometimes, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Our liver and our kidneys and different things detox. We learn that in school. We do learn that in school that our organs help us to
Yeah.
detox.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our lymphatic system does that.
Yeah.
However, sometimes our system malfunctions. That's why we have cancer is number 2 in the United States.
Yeah.
If our system didn't malfunction, we wouldn't have cancer. We wouldn't have heart disease. We would have inflammatory disorder, rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah.
Our bodies need
Yeah.
these herbs. We need the herbs.
Right. And I think what you're saying is that we have this natural detoxification system in our bodies. And there are some things we can do, not crazy, you don't have to go to extremes, but there are some things you can add in that just help facilitate it, help strengthen it,
Yeah,
help it do its job.
have a
And I
good
think that
job.
that's different. It's like the idea of adding things in versus taking things out, which is I think
Right.
what we think about when we hear detox, or we hear a lot of like things about integrative medicine. We think about what are we taking out and how, it's like this kind of black and white, but what you're describing is just bringing in some of your what you know from the wisdom of your culture and integrating it into what we have here, and kind of in giving people that kind of like tools they can use to to strengthen their body, strengthen all that. And I agree. And it's interesting because I know that there's a dietitian in our practice that's from the Dominican, and she was sharing the same type of thing about like kind of this idea of like there's something food related that can help with all these things. And I think it is a great opportunity to really like explore different cultures and like, well, there's wisdom, like we have all this wisdom from
Other people.
From India, when I think about
India.
yoga and yoga tradition
From
and
China,
Ayurveda.
Asia.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Asian medicine. We have so many different cultures to tap into, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure you're from different. I'm not sure where you're from either, but
I grew up in Maine. I'm kind of a European mutt from Maine. Yeah.
We can take everything from everybody, right? There's something from every culture,
right.
And we need to respect that, and we just need to be open-minded. And I don't think there's one approach for everyone, right?
Yeah.
And so, how I came along to, treat individuals the way I treat them, is based on how they want to be treated. Of course, they are. I'm the coach. They're going through. They're playing in the game, and I'm the coach. And then the game, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And so I really feel like nutrition is the foundation of life, and that's one of our anthems or themes in 360 Girls and Women. Nutrition is the foundation, and from there I move up. I go into and I address other methods of healing or holistic approaches. But as far as Jamaica is concerned, I don't speak with just Jamaicans. I speak with anyone that wants, any girls and women that want to, learn about healthy eating. But my culture is definitely important, just like everyone else's, because they see that they could connect and relate. I think that's a good opportunity. But
Well, it's interesting because you bring in, and I mean, you know, you bring in that aspect of spirituality, and I think, you know, and when you look at
different,
any well, no, but when you look at any spiritual path, like I'm
yeah,
thinking, like recently I went through yoga teacher training, and
yeah.
I learned
Oh,
studying like Tibetan Buddhism, and you know, there's always this kind of
spiritual.
concept of the body being
Mhm.
taking care of the body. Like it's important to
Yes,
take care of the body to be able to access those, you know, the spiritual connection, and I think that is a really important component to think about. And I think it is individual, right? Kind of
yeah,
thinking about
it is.
what feels good, what heals, what nourishes everyone's body, and like and being okay with wherever you are on that path, you know, kind of finding your way around what feels good in your body. And like you were talking about kind of like that period where you were just in a lot of pain and you kind of found
Yeah.
your way. And a lot of it sounds like it was intuitive. Like you kind of
I had to, yeah, because nobody
did some
was,
research. Yeah.
no doctor was able to tell me what was wrong with me. They still can't really find out what's going on. And I'm still healing and I'm doing much better.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
try to help people in their own path as well
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
you know, again, it's a guidance. You know, of course, you pray, ask for direction, and you tap into the spiritual part. And then, you know, physically, what feels wild, what feels good, keep doing that. What doesn't feel good, certain activities don't feel right, stop doing that. So you
Yeah.
listen to your body. Because I
Yeah.
had to go to therapy too, physical therapy, all types of therapy. And you're like, okay, let's stop
Mhm.
doing that. Let's try this. Like, you know, I had to try this
Mhm.
food after I had my children. I could even eat certain things. I couldn't tolerate certain foods, like just for no
Your
reason. Like
body
it's
really, you're right. Your body does change. And I think that there's something that can shift in your immune system. And
mhm.
for some people, and it's fascinating. I think that that's like, and I think in some ways we all know if we really kind of ask our body, like, what's going on? Like if we really get quiet and just listen, like a lot of times those answers are there. And I think it sounds like you kind of, it led you to this path with your eating that felt really healing to you, and now the work you're doing.
Yeah.
So for time's sake, I want to
Okay.
have you talk about
The
the
jerk.
the dish you're going to be preparing and the event you're doing later this month with Bad.
Okay. So what I'm preparing is jerk. I'm doing jerk tofu, and the reason why I'm doing jerk is because you know, that's one of our traditional spices. You
Yeah.
know, the history of jerk came, you know, way back from the maroon Africans when they were, you know, fleeing to the Blue Mountains,
Yeah.
from, you know, in Jamaica. And so they came up with, when they were in the mountains, or in the bush, you call it fleeing and hiding, they were trying to live. And so they used
Yeah.
boar meat and they kind of seasoned their food, and they kind of came up with a spice called jerk. And so now when you go to Jamaica, you see it all over. And you
Yeah.
know, the restaurant, the recipe, the menus, you'll see
Yeah.
jerk fish, jerk chicken, jerk this, and
Yeah.
so you could jerk
It's
anything.
delicious. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've been to Jamaica. I went there in
you.
college at one
Oh,
point.
really?
That I love, yeah, the jerk chicken was, and I still use jerk seasoning. I have
Jerk
it like at
seasoning.
home and I put it on like chicken wings and or whatever, you know, it's
Yeah.
great. I love it.
It tastes so
Yeah.
good. Yeah. And so the dish I'm gonna make is, I wanted to kind of experiment and have people from my culture experiment more with more plant-based foods, because
Yeah.
in our culture, you know, especially people of color, we're suffering a lot of from hypertension, diabetes is higher rate for us. So, you know, in a lot of studies show that, you know, if you eat more plant-based, you're able to reduce some of your, you know, your risks for
Yeah.
cardiovascular disease and diabetes. And so because of that, I want to show them that, hey, someone of color from your culture is showing you how to eat plant-based, and I also eat
Absolutely.
plant-based. You don't have to eat that way all the
Yeah.
time. It's just you could try tofu, and you
It's an
don't have to try
alternative,
it.
and it's something I've tried, and I think
Yeah.
that it sounds like you're keeping it authentic.
Yeah, and so I'm putting
Hmm.
some jerk on it. I'm gonna put it in the oven.
Yeah.
First, I'm gonna, you know, season it. I'll show them how I'm gonna do it. Because there's a special technique that I want to show them how to like massage it or like dip it in. You know,
Yeah.
whether it's meat or tofu, and then you have to, you know, grill it. So I'm not going to grill, but you can, if you don't have a grill at home, you could put jerk, whatever you're gonna jerk, in the oven. It gives it a nice crisp
Hmm.
consistency on the top and soft on the inside. You never really want to saute jerk. You can,
Yeah.
but you know, I did do cauliflower jerk, and I did it on the pot in the pan quickly.
Yeah.
But typically, if you're using some kind of meat or textured meat like tofu, you want to put it in the oven so it has time to the flavor can get into the food, and the texture can be firm on the outside, like I said, and soft on
Hmm.
the
You want it
inside.
to kind of dry out a little bit, cook on the
Yes,
outside.
you
Yeah,
want it to be
that
dry.
makes
A jerk
yeah.
is typically it's a wet jerk seasoning, and you know, I'm going to dry it. So you definitely don't want to use a dry seasoning because we're going to put it in the oven. So we're going to use a wet rub
But then
jerk.
but then it gets what's that word I'm looking for? It probably gets a little crispy on the outside.
Yes.
Once, yeah.
Yes, you want it to be a little dry.
Yeah.
Because when you go to Jamaica on the grill, it's dry on the grill. Sometimes they put a little sauce on the side.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're kind of mimicking. And then the ingredients that are typical of my culture is like thyme, pimento, seasoning, and that's also thyme is also in the jerk seasoning, and we have Scotch bonnet pepper, when a very hot pepper. It has a lot of health benefits as well.
Yeah.
And then some other things we use, such as allspice and salt, pepper. I mentioned pepper already. So it's a lot. It's just a blend of spices.
So you make your own jerk seasoning. You're not going to buy it at Trader Joe's.
I can make my own, but it's just so much easier to I get it in the bottles, the same Walker's Wood bottle. Actually, I have the empty bottle here because I show it to my clients. The same Walker's Wood jerk I use the mild. The hot is so hot I can't even take it. My husband loves hot. It's so hot, so I use the mild. It's a little heat. But I can make my own, but I just get it here because it's preserved. It's it has pepper, salt.
Yeah, and why bother mixing it all up when you're gonna probably have to find a place to store it or throw it out, and
And it's very authentic. It's just like pure, the real thing. It's not like it's coming and it's in glass. It's not like it's like any extra.
And you get that at a special grocery store?
I actually ordered this online, or you could get it at the Jamaican market. They're called Tropical Foods in Boston.
Yep.
Is where I usually go shopping, or my husband.
Okay.
We go because that's the closest to where we live. I know that there's Worcester. You guys call it Worcester?
Yeah, Worcester. Yep, that's
Worcester,
closer to, I'm like kind of situated in between. Our practice is the kind of, Newton's a little closer to Boston. Framingham's maybe a little kind of in between the Boston and Worcester,
Yeah, and so ordering it online, I get it on Amazon, but if we can't, if it's out of stock or something, we'll go to the Tropical Foods and get it there. And so
that's the great thing about Amazon. You can order all these ingredients right there. I never thought about that.
You could order even sorrel, the drink that we like to drink in Jamaica, especially around holiday time, which is hibiscus leaves, a really bright red,
I've seen that,
sorrel. Yeah, we drink that, and we order the dry leaves online. But it's, of course, if I could plant it, grow it outside, I would, but, get the dry leaves.
Yeah, and do you make it yourself? Do you make the drink yourself?
Yeah, you boil the leaves, you put pimento, you could put cinnamon in it, or you put some kind of sweetener in it too, agave nectar probably. Some people put really cane sugar, but and then some people put alcohol in it. I don't, but you make it, and it's a really rich, strong anthocyanins. It's the resveratrol, all these
really great for your immune system.
It tastes, but it tastes so good.
It sounds good. Hibiscus, Yeah, Jocelyn said, "Oh, hibiscus."
Hibiscus, yeah. As a child growing up, we always drank tea, and we don't drink the hibiscus tea, we drink the sorrel. But the hibiscus tea is what I drink now. Actually, it's something that I changed. I drink the hibiscus tea versus the sorrel, and it's actually good for blood pressure. It's good for really, any red, bright color. It drops your blood pressure. Yeah, it's really good. It just makes me feel calm.
Is that the whole thing with the red rice extract people were doing?
Yeah, I think so.
Red, is that what it is? Red rice, red beet,
red rice. Yeah, I never had red rice extract. I never had that.
I don't know. There's some research, and I think there's something controversial about it, and I'm not going to recommend anyone take it. But but it is interesting that you mentioned that that red foods generally tend to help decrease hypertension. Beets. Oh, I love beets.
Beets are one of the foods that in Jamaica, I used to hate it as a child. My mom used to say, "Take it." I'm like, I don't want it. I used to be a picky eater. So anyway, but thank God I'm not a picky eater anymore. We grew out of this, right? My children are picky eaters. But the point is that beets are so good for you. But my mom used to say a very long time ago, she's like, "It's good for the blood. It's red. Anything that's red is good for the blood." And I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't know what she's talking about.
She did. She knew. And it's so interesting because I know they're actually promoting beet juice extract, in powder for athletes, I think. And I'm not, I don't know what the purpose is. It's nitrates. The nitrates, that's what it is.
It vasodilates, and it just, oh my gosh. It is good for athletes, for people, anybody, health wise. But again, for pregnant women, because I do with women, we tell them not to drink a lot of hibiscus because it could cause some, we're not sure how it reacts in pregnancy, and it can cause, if you take too much, it could cause liver damage. If you like,
Oh,
if
okay.
you
That's
drink
not
like,
good.
I don't know, 10, 20 cups of, hibiscus a day, it can cause some side effects, but I don't think anyone's going to be drinking that many cups of it, the
Yeah.
leaves. With anything is moderation, with any herb or anything, but I'm really into herbs, and I've studied that. I'm actually a medical missionary as well, but we'll talk about that
Oh,
later.
yeah. Well, goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, you wear so many hats. I mean, they all integrate. But when you're a personal trainer, you're a certified diabetes educator and specialist, and it's just like the list goes on. I mean, it's just.
Well, thank God. All praises to God, not to me. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I had to study hard, of course, right? But thank God he helped me. But I really just like helping people, and as you as well, you wanna help someone to
Yeah.
get to their best selves. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I
You're
felt like
following your heart's mission. It sounds like you're kind of just you're following the path you're meant to follow, and I love that.
yeah,
Yeah, I love the
yeah.
passion you bring to your work.
Yeah. Well, did I answer your question about the seasoning? I think I kind of
Yeah,
like went
we
on.
got off track. No, but you're talking about the jerk seasoning. That was
Okay.
really great, and I might
Yeah.
share. I'll share that market in the comments,
Yeah.
and maybe even a link to that particular seasoning because you're going to be using that probably
Yes, I will be
on.
using that. Yes.
Wait, are you doing that tomorrow night? Is your
It's Wednesday. Okay, so it's Wednesday at it's 6. I believe that's 6. I'm so bad. I don't.
Okay, so Wednesday the 31st at 6 o'clock. The link is actually in our profile. So if anyone goes in to our link tree in our profile, they can go to that link for the cooking series at BAD.
Yes.
And yeah, so Sue Ellen will be leading the cooking event on Wednesday at 6. And are there ingredients listed somewhere? I think they are.
Yeah,
right?
the ingredients should be listed. On the. I'm gonna post it on my stories. I can give it to you as well to post. But there's a link on the BAD.
I'll tag them in this. Yeah, I think I've already tagged them a couple times. So if anyone wants to go at BAD Dietetics to their handle, there's all the information you would need on the cooking series, and all of the recipes are posted, so you can actually make these dishes like beforehand. So I know.
With me.
Yeah, Sue Ellen will be doing hers on on Wednesday live, and then Jay Petruno will be doing one on, I think it's April 6th.
I know we have so many dates in our
5th
head.
or 6th, but it's listed again. That's also listed in the, our stories and BAD stories, and so it's exciting.
Yeah. The ingredients are very simple. The steps are made it simple, so hopefully everybody will be able to participate. And I'll talk more about Jamaica's history and culture. I know we talked about so many things today, and I'm so grateful that you had me on.
No, this is great. Yeah, I loved having you. And and I don't know if you want to just mention a little bit about how people can contact you at your Women and Girls 360.
Yeah. Okay. 360girlsandwomen.com.
360 Girls. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. You could go on the website 360girlsandwomen.com, and if you have questions, you can send me a message. But basically, 360 Girls and Women, we use nutrition as a foundation to help women journey through the complete life cycle, physically, mentally, and spiritually, for the complete you. And then we have 4 paradigms that makes us different: nutrition, fitness, and beauty. Because I go through different aspects of health, not just nutrition and fitness, and we address it through adolescence, to young women, older women, and motherhood with it, prenatal, pregnancy, and beyond. So it's 360. It's complete nutrition for the complete.
No, it's great because it's carrying. There's so many transitions in a female's lifespan, and I think
exactly.
So
and I have a story. I have so many stories for different stages of that lifespan. Like I plan to share it, little by little. There's just not enough time to speak about it. But one of those phases were in my pregnancy phase, where I went through a lot of changes, and I want to spread the word to help women, and direct them to healthy alternatives and away from myths, because I was brought up in certain ways that weren't actually the best ways, because I was taught that way. But like feminine products, you think this is the way to do things, hair products, because a lot of women of color are actually also into hair health, skin health, and we're using different things that are getting into our pores that are causing us cancer, or increasing our risk for cancer, I would say, because they're endocrine disruptors.
So learning more about how different things impact health and feeling more like an empowered conscious
Yes. Oh,
consumer. And yeah, that's
yes.
amazing. That's really
So
great. And I'm really looking forward to your book. I can see right now your art, the wheels are spinning. You've
I
got something
see
in
you.
action. You said that you're a co-author and you're a writer. I bet your book's going to be coming out shortly, right?
I can't say that, but we'll see. Yeah.
I can't wait. All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you so much for
You're
having me.
welcome.
I
Thank
had
you.
fun.
And this, I
Yeah.
hope you have a great rest of your week. And I'm hoping I can tune in it for
Yeah. I hope
Wednesday
you
and
can make
help.
it. I hope you can make
Mhm.
some jerk tofu with me. Yeah.
I know. I know. We'll see. All right. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Sue Ellen. It was so
Take
nice to
care.
have you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.